I keep my mouth shut, pretend I have fun. Bless my heart, got this far. I keep my mouth shut, pretend I have fun.
No, he said he thinks I could be a star. It's not like that, he's married. No, he plays guitar for that country singer, you know, the one that plays that song? No, not that song. The other one. You know, the one that goes like...
All the shit that you'll do to get in the room, is it worth what gets said in the room? You can write better, but that doesn't matter, 'cause that's just not what they do in the room. All the shit that you'll do to get in the room, is it worth what gets said in the room? You can write better, but that doesn't matter, 'cause that's just not what they do.
You are listening to the Kindness Revolution morning show. I'm your host, Gizmo, and that is In the Room, Ellie Bluell. And in the room with us right now for the Kindness Revolution TKR Spotlight Artist of the Day, sponsored by Toronto Musicians Hub, other than a massive mouthful of words, is the band Nitro Girl. Good morning, guys. How are you today?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely phenomenal. Thank you very much. I see this is the first interview where we've had more than one member of a band on, so this should certainly be an interesting experience for all of us.
Breaking records here.
We're all here.
Excellent. So if you're all here, how about you start off, quick introduction from each of you, who you are, what you play, and whether you like ham and pineapple pizza.
Oh, sweet. Well, my name's Josh. I'm the guitarist and singer.
I'm Owen. I play bass.
I'm John. I'm the drummer, and I fucking hate Hawaiian pizza.
Oh, love it.
Get off, get out, you're done.
Can I swear? Sorry.
That's a trick question. That's how we figure out who's in the Kindness Revolution or not. You don't like pineapple on pizza? Don't have anything to say. No, I'm kidding. I'm just an asshole.
There's one way to eat pizza.
And that is
From bacon.
bacon. Yes. I mean,
What?
bacon is part of the food triangle in its own little space. I mean, it's just a triangle. It's got bacon in it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, let's find out more about you. I will fire off some questions, and then you guys can decide who would like to answer them.
You
So,
got
let's talk about your basically early days of the band. There's obviously three of you, but is there any sort of shared thing about your upbringings that and your early exposure to music is the reason you sort of congregated and made this band?
Well, Nitro Girl, it's crazy. So, to take it way back, Owen and I in high school, I want to say maybe grade 10. So when we started playing together. So in 14 to 15?
15 to 16.
2015 to 16, Owen and I played in a high school band called Number 9, and that is when we really discovered our love for performance and just shredding, with the homies. We would rent local venues and sell tickets, and the whole grind was there. You're bringing your show tickets to school every day, and like you're pretty much reaching into people's pockets. Telling them, like, whether you're coming or not, you're paying for this ticket, right? And that was just the grind at the time. There were a couple bands at our high school, and then fast forward a couple years later and a couple bands later, Owen and I are still playing together. I don't think we've ever really been in a band without each other than Grim Fandango, right?
Yeah.
And even then, that was Owen's other project at the time, and I had recorded their album. And then fast forward a couple other years later, Owen and I start working on this project, Nitro Girl, and it was supposed to kind of just start as this studio project where we're, throwing MIDI drums in that sound half, decent, and, just demoing these songs together and seeing what happens. And we had no particular vision for it until we started playing, and then finding a drummer was a big problem. And then John came into our lives. I think he was like the fifth drummer or
John
something
was
like
the
that.
seventh drummer.
Yeah, it's insane. So like the funny thing is that we never really got to play with these other drummers. It's like, you'd invite them out to a rehearsal, you would jam the material, and then it would just phase out. But the thing with John is he co-opted at my studio, but he was still under 19. So we didn't want to ask him to be in the band yet, just in case, if we were to play any 19 plus events, right?
Right. Yeah.
So historically, I've heard, people will go on tour with somebody under the age of 19, and the club won't let them play. So to avoid that, we just waited, and then we invited John to be in the band, and we've been grinding ever since.
That's awesome. And are there sort of who are your music idols sort of growing up? And obviously you've been in multiple different bands. Has that sort of shifted as you've changed which bands you've been in?
Well, Josh and I, when we were growing up, we bonded over a love of bands like Arctic Monkeys and Royal Blood. I grew up listening to a lot of Rush and Muse. You guys, John was more of a
I love the
kid.
band Muse. They're great.
Fantastic, right? Chris Wolstenholme, his right hand technique has changed my life.
Yeah. So, and another big avenue that we try to delve into is the psychedelic rock with Queens of the Stone Age, psychedelic porn crumpets, and even some of these
I'm sorry, what? What was that last band's name?
Have you not heard of psychedelic porn crumpets?
No, I just have the regular crumpets being English. Like, I've never had a psychedelic porn crumpet, though I'm kind of curious to try one.
Oh, listen to this band, man. They're an Australian psychedelic band, and they're doing the coolest stuff.
We caught them at the Axis Club in Toronto when they came, what was it, last winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fascinating. Well, you are listening to the Kindness Revolution morning show, and we're joined by the band Nitro Girl, and this is their song, Who We Are. Enjoy. we are, Nitro Girl, here on the Kindness Revolution morning show, our TKR featured artist of the day. And they join us via they join us via the Discord, a live chat that we use to communicate with everybody here on the morning show. So, lads, absolutely cracking song, and we're starting to know who you are. See what I did there with your song title? I'm really bad for that. We got a question here from Hot Ink in the live chat, and she asks, what do you think about artificial intelligence in creating music? She's curious to know because what an actual band thinks, because we've had some independent artists, but like a full band may have a sort of different viewpoint.
Yeah. Let's
I
see what
mean,
John's got to
we
say.
attempted to use AI image generation for like some album covers for singles that we released, and we ended up disliking it a lot. But I've tried to use AI to like assist in like the process of writing music, and I just find it's like absolutely useless. It doesn't really it doesn't have the human brain for music. I don't know. I'm like write chugging patterns, and then I just get like the most unusable thing.
Yeah, I feel like unless you're asking the AI to listen to entire artists' catalogs of music before you write them, like I don't think we even care enough to go about that process, right? So
yeah,
and
no,
John,
I can see that.
And John is just one of those drummers that's better at every other instrument than the rest of the band. So he's got nothing stopping him from just picking up an axe and just doing whatever, man. I gotta remember that y'all can't see my hand stuff.
Yeah, we have to actually communicate with our voice.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, because I didn't see that either because I was looking at the video. All I've got in my head is a drummer with an axe and just demolishing a drum kit. So I feel like I may have missed something there.
No, that's
an
it.
accurate portrait of the band right
That's
there.
it. That's John every rehearsal, and you can see it in our last piece of content that we put out, our last show promo.
I will definitely have to look for that for sure. So, okay, we talked about that you've tried it for sort of songwriting, but AI, it doesn't really get it. Now, I have a question on that before we move on to the next part. I don't really care which one you use, but were you using, say, sort of just a free version of ChatGTP, or like how did you sort of go about it? Did you just ask it and then wait for the response and take its response as, no, that's it, that's rubbish, and move on? Or how long did you spend like sort of engaging with it?
I went back to it a few times. I don't know. It's just whoever was in chat just put it's less capable than what we really need it to be. It feels like it could be a crutch for songwriting and creativity, but it just really doesn't get you anything.
Yeah, I can certainly see that with the most AI, because I mean, music and songwriting is obviously very sort of personal to the people doing it, and without any sort of prior context or insight or like basic training, the AI will not perform as you would want it to. It's very much the process of garbage in, garbage out. Now, I'm not saying you're putting garbage into it, but if there is limited points of reference, it will essentially put out the same quality as the input provided. So it takes time to get AI up to a usable level. I mean, it's taken me 2.5 years to get Echo, who is basically the AI counterpart, who's done the graphics, does the background music, helps write scripts, the show format, the template, build the website. Sure. It was shit to begin with. It was honestly, I would have better off just doing anything else. But over time, it's learned. I've programmed it, I've created frameworks, so it now is much more adaptive. I've also given it a subjective memory, so it can remember prior conversations and previous dates and bring those back in. Okay. Something that even ChatGTP, it has that memory function, but it's not so much a subjective one. So that has definitely helped. So maybe we can test out Echo, and you can test it out and see if it performs better than what you've tried in the past. No,
absolutely.
I mean, everything's a tool, right? As long as, because like the thing about AI is not independently going to produce music without a person interacting with it. So if you want to use it as a creative tool, you can, because it's still a human being saying, I want this, I'm going to use this tool to get there. It's not just robots taking over, you know?
Yeah, like what's the difference between asking AI for guidance and, you know, looking into a thesaurus for a different, you know, slew of words that all mean the same thing, right? Like you're using a different database of information that you don't have to, you know, establish whatever that it is that you're writing, right? So whether you're like, it depends what you're measuring the differences by, right? Like you do hear some of the AI tracks that are solely AI developed, and like sure, they're good tracks, but like, but
there's nothing innovative about it.
Philosophically, you know, is that something that you want to, you know, is that something that you want to indulge in, or do you want to listen to what people have written sobbing on their bedroom floor, or like, you know, something that, you know, you could learn from a personal connection, right? I think that's what brings, you know, listeners close to the band or artists, right?
Yeah, it's that connection between two humans. But here's the interesting thing that you mentioned about that is there was a song I created, and I've been sort of playing it to certain people and not giving any context. And like, look at this song I've created with people. Basically, I've been lying about it. And they would all come like, oh, I love the feeling into song. The person who wrote this, that you can really feel their emotions and the connection. And then I dropped the surprise bomb at the end of, you know, that's AI. And instantly they start to retract everything they said because, oh, it's AI. Well, no, I couldn't possibly say that. So it's kind of really interesting that I think what it can do very well, but it's then our subjective beliefs around artificial intelligence not being a human, thus, therefore, it can't do these things. So I'm when we're off air, once we've done the interview, I'm going to send you guys a link to this song. Just see what you think. Obviously, you've got the advantage now that you know it's AI, but obviously then you can sort of critique it probably better than not knowing. Plus, you seem like nice guys. It's early in the morning, and I probably shouldn't want to trick you here. You are joined by myself, Gizmo, and the band Nitro Girl for the TKR Spotlight Artist of the Day. And we're going to play another one of their phenomenal tracks from their album Magic Wand, and this is a Follow Suit.
Follow suit, my brother said.
every puff. This is a Nitro Girl here on the Kindness Revolution morning show, and they join us via Discord this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Actually, let's get back into what you were just saying about sort of going out and performing. If you could just kind of recap what you were just talking about, that'd be great.
Yeah, so the challenge with Nitro Girl has been the fact that we've been a band relatively officially for 4 years now. So Owen and I had started making this album like a long time ago. They had a couple of the tunes that just started as demos, and we knew we were going to release it as a collection. But I digress. So one of the biggest challenges as you know, a local band where you're playing all your original material is playing every show like you're playing to, you know, thousands of people, right? Making sure that you're putting on, no matter if there's, you know, 10 people in the room, if it's just our girlfriends in the room and fiance, but it's, you have to perform, you know, the best that you possibly can, because you never know who's in the room. You want to practice how you perform, right? So really dialing yourself in. But a big part of it too is trying to make sure. What is your deal, John? Typical John drummer.
Did he see a squirrel?
Yeah, probably. No, but a big part of it is, you know, you really gotta take pride in playing well, because some bands might have shittier attitudes, and, you know, like it's tough to jive on those gigs and do a really successful, great show, and you're giving everybody a good time if not all the bands are putting 100% into it, right? If they're not putting 100% into their practice, and, you know, they don't feel good about how they're performing. But, you know, I think, you know, it's everybody's job on the bill to kind of, you know, give everybody that empowerment that, like, this is it, like, play your set, right? Like, this is your time, dial it in, right? And put on a good show.
Absolutely, and to a certain degree, fake it until you make it. Even if you don't feel like
Absolutely.
it, just pretend to be. And if that requires making a fool out of yourself, then do it, because they do say, like, if you're not willing to play the fool, then you're less likely to succeed. Because by playing the fool, you essentially don't care what people think about you. And it's not the fact that you don't care, but it's the fact of their opinion of you when they know little about you is essentially irrelevant. Now, if it's people closer to you and they say something, well, maybe you should pay attention to it. But from a standpoint, if you're up on stage, you're there for you because you want to perform your music, and the audience essentially is an incidental.
Yeah, totally.
A specific show we did recently comes to mind where we were playing at this bar, and you know, things are uneven when you're starting out as a band. You play bigger shows, you play smaller shows, and at this particular one, there were like 6 people in the room, and 4 of them were in the other bands that were playing. And regardless of that, we played our asses off, and you have to separate yourself from, like, because I've met guys in bands who would be like, oh, this is BS. I'm you know, and then they go up and do half the job. But that's, like, you're missing the point. You have a chance to play music with your friends and be loud and have fun, and that's all. That should be the long and short of it, right?
Yeah.
You lugged all your gear in, make the best of it.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And to a certain degree, it sort of comes down to the same when it comes to sort of creating and writing the song. It really isn't about, because I think a lot of people these days with the social media thing are all getting swept up. Oh, I've got to have tons and tons of streams. I've got to have this many followers, this many likes, and create the music based around that. And once you're doing that, you detract from the whole point of it. Like, when you just make the music because you want to make the music for yourself, that's when you find that you really excel and get bigger and better. Like, if you're doing it for any other reason externally, then personally, I feel you won't be able to go as far. And I've seen that with independent artists I've run into. The ones who are doing it for them and don't care what I think, they're the ones who actually are better than the ones on the other hand, on the other side of that, right?
Yeah, totally.
Ayn Rand music.
Yeah, and another big part of that too is, you know, this limit that we have on ourselves too, just the standards at which we hold ourselves to as people and musicians. And probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten as a musician is from Owen. And he said you could have the exact, because a big part of what I was dealing with at the time and still deal with is you know, your ability to improvise really well, right? Like improvise a solo, or, you know, if you're trying to, you know, pick back off after fumbling a little bit, you could have the exact same guitar, the exact same amp, the exact same pedals, the exact same strings, cables, and you'll still never sound like them, so stop trying to. Right?
The only way you're going to sound like them is using artificial intelligence, which neatly swings us back around to some of the comments in the chat we were talking about. So basically, the North Cafe project puts, it doesn't even feel like cheating because you are perfectly aware that you're asking something that is creatively always going to be less than what you're capable of. Then he goes on to say, AI is useless when it goes up against actual creativity. Now, John, tomorrow we will be talking about that comment because I disagree, but I always like to disagree with John. However, Hot Ink agrees with John there. I find it's for people who are less creative. But she says, as a tattoo artist, I use AI for reference. As a listener, however, I would prefer to listen to people's stories and lives instead. And then you've got some compliments for your music, so well done there. And then John chimes in with, the key to performing well is you have to have a solid foundation and confidence in what you're doing and where you're going. When we have a big up-and-coming gig, the works begins 3 months before the gig. Who doesn't want to perform at their best level? I would be interested in hearing any logical argument for such a thing. Do you have any logical argument against what John just said?
Laziness. That's all it is. If you're in a band, you're writing songs, you're booking shows, and then you're thinking little enough of them that you're not putting the effort in that they deserve, you're lazy, right? You want to get what you can out of a band, but you're not willing to put in the effort it takes to do something great.
Good answer. I like that one. And John says, I couldn't agree more, and I love everything that you guys stand for. You sound like an actual band. That's because they are an actual band, John.
We fooled him.
Actually, they're all AI. This is why we never have them. Yeah, they're just voice actors.
We're not even real people.
I'm not even real. I'm AI. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to get into another one of your songs here. Let's go with, considering we're talking about shows, Velvet Rope. This is Nitro Girl here on the Kindness Revolution Morning Show. 19:45 here on the Kindness Revolution morning show. I'm your host Gizmo, and we are joined by the band Nitro Girl. Absolutely wonderful guys. Know how to hold a conversation, which is key on one of these types of shows. You have to have a bit of a personality, or you're going to put people to sleep. That's for sure. So, where can people find you? Like, what do they have to type into the interwebs to come across your music and social media?
Well, Instagram seems to be the most popular mode of, media these days. So you can follow us at Nitro Girl. It's just Nitro Girl spelt with a 0. You can find us there, and then you can find all of our shows through there. It's all in our bio. We've got a link tree that you can get your merch
Link
through.
in bio.
You can get tickets. Let's go! Yeah,
Big things coming.
Yeah, big things coming.
Coming soon.
Yeah, so Instagram, give us a follow. Nitro Girl, NITR0GIRL.
That was interesting when you said there was a 0. I was like, there's no O in Nitro Girl. What? And then I was like, no, I can't spell. And for an English person, that's quite
Believe
shocking.
it or not.
Our new album is on all major streaming platforms.
Magic Wand.
Yeah. Is it on Deezer? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
It's on Deezer.
Dude, our album's on friggin' Roblox.
Our album's on Roblox.
Remember
if you listen to the music on Roblox, check it out.
What? That game?
Yeah. There was an option as we were uploading it, and just figured, why not, right?
If your niece is into Roblox, turn her onto it.
No, she's not really a computer type. She's always out and about doing tennis, dancing, skiing, golf, you name it. And I actually like that. She's not like a lot of kids these days are just stuck to a screen. This one, I never see her wanting to be. Oh, can I play with your phone? Or no? She's always like being creative, and that's nice to see. Maybe she'll end up becoming a musician too at this rate. There's nothing she can't do. So speaking of, you mentioned sort of you can find tickets to shows coming up. Have you got any shows coming up?
Yes, we do. I'll tell you right now as I look through our press kit. You can. I updated our press kit. Shit. Hold on.
Okay, so it's not just me who has these issues. Excellent.
Yeah. No, I've got him here. I promise.
Dun 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 dun.
There we go.
Dun 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 dun. Anyway, sorry.
So I'm just opening up my calendar here.
There's some time later. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I was late now. So our next show is February 21st at Corktown Pub in Hamilton. And if you can't catch us there, we're back in Niagara and St. Catharines at Warehouse Concert Hall, March 20th. Then we're in Niagara Falls, March 29th at Camp Cataract, and we've got a couple other shows booked throughout the year, but those are the most immediate ones. So Hamilton and Niagara, come party.
Absolutely. I certainly won't be driving to Hamilton because that's an absolute nightmare to get into. And getting past Hamilton to Niagara is equally as dumb. But I have a solution. There's the GO train.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, at the end of the day, we just, we go to play our Hamilton show, collect our half our gas money, and then, rip to the locals. And it's a good rager when we go out there. It's usually pretty good. But we definitely thrive out in St. Catharines with our local community. We got our local fans here. So if you ever get a chance to come out here this end, we'd love to have you over at Warehouse next time, Gavin. So we'll have to sort that up, and we'll comp you a ticket.
Oh, absolutely. I will be there. And who knows, if you'd like, I can come down and do some live show filming like I did for Naya at the Hoozle launch party. So we'll definitely have to chat about it. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here. It's been absolutely wonderful, and look forward to following your progress over the coming year. Everybody, this has been Nitro Girl, the TKR Spotlight Artist of the Day, sponsored by Toronto Musicians Hub. And we're kind of going to do a little bit of a George Lucas here and go backwards. And we're going to finish off with their first song Intro off their album Magic Wand, which you can find on Spotify. You can also find them anywhere on social media. Go to Instagram, Nitro Girl, but that's Nitro spelt with a 0. This is Intro at the outro. This is TKR Mornings.
From where it all began, I've seen it all before. What's gone is gone. Just play, don't fold. Take a step up here. What are you keeping inside? Show me what you've got to show. You're the face of the untold. Something could follow the end. Don't you feel it in the wind? I heard that somebody said that it's all in my head. Won't you come on out? Won't you let me in? Won't you come on out? Won't you let me in?
That was Nitro Girl, the TKR Spotlight artist of the day here on the Kindness Revolution Morning Show. That was great fun, and that was Intro. Now let's get back into all of the other artists. This is Plain Tuesday, which is tomorrow, Deep Six Project. This is CCAN Radio.
I'll never get used to waking up on the wrong side of another lie. I'm a little bit lost and had enough of morning fights and lonely nights. I'm telling my friends that I will leave, but I never leave. Whoa, maybe this should all come back to me, and maybe I will see. You told me we should make everything a little more simple. You told me we should make everything a little more simple. And that means stay out late till 4 in the morning on a plain Tuesday with no kind of warning. I'm not tired of excuses, 'cause you don't try to make them. You know what you're doing, playing single and taken. I'll never find something more than this. My stupid heart has lost its grip. The way that things are to the way they were, I can't remember where it turns. Really isn't hard, at least to me. A little honesty. Wow, maybe this should all come back to me. Maybe I will see. You told me we should make it myself.